Hello, everybody. Welcome back to King Dummies by the Mangaki no Tsukai boys. My name is Evan, and I am your host today. And as always, I am joined by my Chancellor of the right, Adam,
Hello.
and my Chancellor of the left, Jesse.
Finally, it's about time I've been promoted. Good to be here.
See, I think
I
that
even
I've
come with my
already,
own theme jingle, as you just heard.
I think I've already called you guys Chancellor of the right and left, but that shit happens in these chapters, so I'm gonna go with it.
No,
Let's
that was
go.
appropriate.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it.
So before we get started, Jesse, what did you think of this nice chunk of chapters?
Oh, this was good. Lot of different little, sceneries going on. We got one little story, another little story, another little story. And
Yeah,
I know that the next arc is the big boy. So
yeah,
we're
that's the
getting
thick
to
one.
it.
That's the thick one, and I'll have to figure out a way to, condense the chapters like we were talking about, so that it's easily digestible, because it's a huge arc. But what we got now is a lot of politicking, a lot of battles, a lot of really cool art, and I'm glad we're finally getting to it.
Yeah, some characters we haven't seen in a while make a return here. So
Absolutely. So today we'll basically be going 244 to 256. Um, and so let's start off with 244 then. So this chapter starts off um, with Shin relaying to say what Rempa had told him, like that in order to be the best and be the greatest general under the heavens, he's going to have to unify China. And him and Say have a conversation in their platform that they have there that they always talk out, about how their interests are aligning, and how they're actually going to do it. Skips to 3 months later at the Risei front lines. The independent roaming 1,000-man troop, the Hixing unit, are on the prowl, and man, do the boys look fucking baller in this shot here. They look badass. Even Bihei looks cool as fuck. But I feel like Endono looks the best out of all of them, even though he's got that yee ass haircut. With the what is it's like? I guess it's like a top knot or something. It kind of looks like he's super glued to like a bouncy ball on his head. But regardless, he looks like a badass, and I love it. Um, but even though they got all this shiny new armor, oh yeah, that's another thing too. I wanted to mention Shin's actually wearing his armor, which is pretty
right.
cool. Um,
They're all
but even
wearing
though,
nice armor. It's refreshing. They don't all look like peasants.
yeah, like it actually kind of makes sense. I guess they get some extra funding when they become 1,000-man troop, I guess. But yeah, so um, even though they got all this extra shit and all this badassery going on, they're actually not really performing that well. Um, Moten comes to them to have a little visit, and they all come to the realization that the reason that they're losing is because Shin and En are really bad at strategy, and they're basically just kind of going at it as it comes along
Yeah,
by the skin of their teeth.
there's
Um,
a funny page on page 12 where they say that them two have been the ones coming up with everything, and everybody's reaction is just like completely
yeah,
adread.
Yeah,
but
it's
like, what
they're
what did they expect though? Who did they think was coming up with this stuff?
well, they originally thought it was Sosui, and then they were like,
Right.
no, 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 he's handling the logistics and stuff, which I feel like Shin and En should just handle that shit, right? I
Or
mean,
or even like Bihei or some shit. Why Sosui? Why is he's not in this bit for a little while?
oh
Like
yeah,
why?
also like Old Man Ro. I feel like there's other characters that like have proven that they're smart enough to handle something like that. Um,
Yeah.
because clearly this isn't working. But I like on the bottom of this page, everybody's faces. They remind me of the episode where SpongeBob tries the snail po and he like fucking shrivels.
Nice. The snail pup dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, where he like
I
sticks his
completely
tongue
forgot
out
about
and
that.
like the tongue hits it and he immediately like dehydrates.
Most of them Gary's way brat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so Moten shows up and they're talking about it, and Moten decides that he's going to introduce the Hishin unit to a strategist that he knows, his brother, good old Moki. And that's how the chapter ends. Pretty cool chapter. I enjoyed reading that one. The next chapter starts off with a carriage surrounded by, cavalry dudes, and assumedly that's who the strategist is. But it doesn't seem like the Hishin unit's very excited about this new blood coming through. We get a little bit more about like what the Wei are doing, and it turns out they're moving to reclaim Sanyou, and that's what all these battles are about. In the commander's tent, we get a little bit more info about like the grand strategy of the whole thing. Basically, the Qin have to hold and control 2 bridges, and even though the commander would rather not let Qin have it, he has to rely on the Hishin unit holding one of these bridges, the Bijin Bridge. And Shin's like, yeah, we'll take care of it. This is like, our last chance. We'll make sure we take care of it. But they lose again. Because Shin's an idiot, and all he does is run into battle and try to kill people without any strategy behind it. So because they lose the bridge, the whole Shin front line gets pushed back. Moten's discussing these events, where he's at when all of a sudden his brother shows up, and Moten's like confused. He's supposed to be with Shin. But Moki explains that instead of going himself, he sent a competent replacement. And it turns out that the replacement is good old Karyoten. The page of her popping out of the carriage is pretty fucking great. Just that she hops out and just tone. What is that? Tone.
What page is that on? 13?
14, I think it is.
All right, I need you to just tell me that because it takes forever to load these pages, and I want to show them while you're talking about
Yeah,
them.
I hear you. Yeah. But a lot of good lighting on this page. We get the whole unit kind of looking at 10, looking confused. Now they're, kind of justified. Like, what the fuck is this? Is this a monster? Because she's in her owl garb. But she takes it off, and it looks like, I guess, she's grown up a little bit. She's gotten a little bit older, a little prettier. That's how the chapter ends. Chapter 246. Now the meme is finally dead. Now it's done. It's all
I
taken
forgot
care of.
about this meme.
Yeah. Because
Completely forgot about this one.
Well, here's the thing. We tried to put it behind us as much as we possibly could. So I understand why you would forget about it. But yeah, now with this is it. This is finally dead. And even though it's obvious, she's a woman, and she even says it to Shin. She's like, "Oh, sorry for deceiving you, but I had to do what I had to do." That doesn't stop Shin from sexually assaulting her.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes here. Should have just gone with the pat.
Yeah.
The pat.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah, over on the Wei side, we get a little bit of a perspective from them, and they're all basically aiming for the Hishin unit because of what happened at Sanyou. 3 of these surviving commanders on this battlefield were from the center in the last battle, which Shin kind of defeated. So they're chomping at the bits to get the Shin. And they immediately start the attack. Now back at the Hishin unit, they're these incoming enemy troops, and Ten immediately starts to make things more like an actual military unit. She's going, telling people what to do, giving more information, yada yada. And Dene almost beats her up. He almost beats up a little girl for quote unquote getting in the way, but she kind of bitches him out a little bit. And Shin breaks it up between the two. And Shin makes the point that she might have been working hard and all that jazz, but he still really has no idea how good she actually is, and he can't just hand control of his men over to her, which is like fair. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm okay with that reasoning. but at the same time, I feel like he should like at least taken some of her, like listen to her advice. He didn't even like give her the opportunity, to prove how good she was until he. Well, we'll see what happens, but
Right. Well, yeah, because that's the thing. As soon as shit starts to go bad for the unit, she's already proven correctly
right.
or correct. Um, and it makes me think if she was a man, they wouldn't have had this issue. But because Carrioten's a woman, whatever.
Yeah, you think
um,
if Moki showed up, he would have been fine with it?
yeah,
Mm,
basically, they wouldn't have even blinked an eye. They would have probably just listened to what he had to say because they've been sucking ass so hard. But yeah, so they get attacked by these Wei troops who are out for revenge, and like I said before, Shin 10 was proven right basically immediately. Um, yeah, so chapter 247. This is the first battle for Carrioten. Um, According to Ten's plan, she and Shin take their HQ and manage to weave their way behind the enemy's search net in order to avoid disaster. We go back to Moki and Moten, and Moki drops the bomb on Moten that Carrioten has already been recognized by Shohei-kun, and he was, that's basically the only person to receive his, praise so early besides Moten himself, which is pretty cool. A little bit of foreshadowing as to how smart Carrioten could be, and we always do. Carrioten was smart and capable, but that's some pretty serious stuff. I mean, Shohei Kun's, he's been gassed up this entire series as being like one of the most brilliant people that Shin has. So that's pretty important, I think. Um,
sure.
so back at the Hishin unit, Dene's going off and on about how brilliant Shin's plan was, but is very surprised to hear that I was actually Carrioten's plan. Um, and on page, what is it? Page 12 is this? Yeah, page 12. Um, 10, she comes to the realization like she's been to battlefields before and she's done tons of simulations of battles during her schooling and stuff. This is the first time she senses what like the quote unquote air of a battlefield is like. So she kind of takes a second to take it all in and to steel herself to what's about to happen.
Yeah, she's not just
Um,
moving pieces on a tabletop anymore.
Right.
yeah, like this is the real shit. Um, so the Wei send out an elite vanguard to smash the Hishin unit. Um, but this is, and also, to test the mettle of this new strategist because they've been fighting with the Hishin unit for a bit, and this is like the strategy that they just used was like completely out of the ordinary for them. So they're like, oh, they must have a strategist now. So this vanguard is to take out the Hishin unit, but it's also to test the mettle of like this new strategist. But but this is exactly what Carrioten wanted because the battle goes from basically from 4,000 to 1,000 to 1,000 versus 1,000. And she said that they're going to bury Wei in this bottleneck that they're somehow unaware of. I don't understand how the Wei is unaware of this bottleneck, but they aren't. So at the start of 248, the enemy enters the bottleneck and they split up down it, and it basically evens the battle. The Hishin units able to use the heavyweights to block one path and let them advance and then cut off the enemy's retreat so that basically they can take apart the enemy piecemeal. Um, they're starting to win a little bit, get a little bit of victory, and Bihei notes that with this little taste of victory, they're kind of like how the Hishin unit used to be. Um, the Wei are trying their best to get through all these issues, but Denyu actually takes out one of their 1,000-man commanders on page 5 and 6. Um, one of the, one of the only times we get to see, um, actually see members of the Hishin unit take out commanders. Like besides Shin, of course.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, yeah. There's like Shin and like Kyokai, and then like everyone else is kind of just like handling the runs.
right, and it happens sometimes, especially with like Sosui and Kyogai, not Kyokai. But it's nice to see Denyu, 100-man Commander Denyu,
Yeah.
actually like do some work, you know. So the problem with this bottleneck strategy that Karyoten has come up with is that as soon as one of the enemy units get through, then the game is basically over for the Hishin unit. They're going to come around and take out the Hishin unit's rear. So knowing this, Karyoten changes the strategy again, and she intentionally exposes themselves so that they can take out the enemy HQ before the Wei do the same. They can do this because Shin is such a badass and can just break through any wall with brute force. But it turns out that, you know, Shin and his men are getting bogged down in the shit due to the swift response of the capable Wei commander. And it starts to look bad, but the plan all along was to bait the enemy reserves to Shin so that they can surprise attack the Wei HQ. And what page are we on? There's a page where Shin, yeah, here we go, page 16, where he looks back, and I guess this is the last time he refers to Karyoten as a he, or maybe that's just a typo. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
he-
wondering that.
Yeah, I was also wondering that. I was like, I think he did that on purpose, but it could have been a typo.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I feel like it could be on purpose, but then again, I don't think Shin is that witty. You know?
No, no,
Yeah.
this is a pretty witty sentence. Sounds like something out of a sitcom. Who would have thought he'd use me, the captain, as bait?
But yeah, it's
Yeah,
a pretty
I could definitely see that being a line in like Seinfeld or something, right? Like something.
It's like my old roommate Evan. Remember that guy Jeff?
Oh yeah, I do remember that guy, Jeff.
And he gets to the bottom of the stairs in my room, and he goes, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Dave. You know, I think I know Dave better than Dave knows Dave. Heck, sometimes I think I know him better than I know myself.
Oof.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, oof.
Wait,
I think
is that a real thing that happened?
that is a real thing that happened. I think it was me, you,
What?
Jesse, and I think Jimmy was with us. And when he said that, we all three of us just looked at each other like we didn't say anything for like a good 10 seconds. We were just like, did that really happen? Oh God.
Oh, Dave.
I wonder what happened to that guy.
Wait, which one
Probably
was which
burned.
one? Which one was that?
Probably burned the place down. That was the
What?
big Lakewood house.
Yeah, no. Which one was Jeff?
He lived in the little closet on the other end of my room.
Oh,
I had like the huge portion of the room that was like unlivable.
right,
So then I was in like one closet area. He was in the other closet area.
right.
You know, he always had the gimp suit on.
He had a
Yeah,
door.
I do
Oh my
remember that.
God.
I do remember the gimp suit.
He didn't have a bed. He just slept in a trunk all the time.
He just had like a dog cage that he slept on. He had a dog collar that Jesse would tie him to the cage with.
Yeah, that guy. Good guy. Not really. He kind
I,
of sucked.
I think I don't. I think like I don't know how many times I've been there, but I think I had one interaction with him, and he was inside the closet.
We've talked about him for far too long at this point. He didn't deserve this much attention.
I thought it was the other guy that lived on the like his own little house inside the house. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Rob?
Yeah, that's who I thought you were talking about.
No, Rob is good people.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah,
Rob.
Rob's
That's why I was like, oh my god, he said that.
No, Rob is wonderful people. I love Rob.
So let me transition over to this and let me try this real quick. And this is gonna
Okay.
be awful, but I'm gonna put you guys through it. Who would have thought he'd use me, the captain, as bait?
Perfect.
That's my patented Seinfeld impersonation.
I could definitely see that being a line on Jerry Seinfeld.
Well, all right. Anyway, let's continue with this. Oh my goodness, we're already at chapter 249. Look at that.
Time flies when you talk about chapters.
So, chapter 249, the Hishin unit strategist. They actually managed to capture the enemy commanders instead of just killing them, which is pretty rare, all things considered, for this series. When does that ever happen? Never.
And it's really weird that it happened with like these absolutely like useless no name fucks that have no relevance to anything except showing off Karyoten's ability as a strategist.
Basically.
That's all this little arc was right here. Was just like, okay, Karyoten, she needs some kind of introduction now that she's the strategist. Okay, let's give her like 4 pages.
And they made like a bunch of hullabaloo about like, oh, these guys are actually pretty competent 1,000-man commanders. And it's like, really though? You fucking went into a bottleneck that you couldn't see from your fucking base camp. Like, of course you could have seen that shit. But yeah, so they capture them. They're alive. Pretty rare. I don't think that's happened up to this point in the series, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it happens at all after this point in the series. The Hishin unit HQ starts to burn, and they all start freaking out for a bit. But Karyoten had an escape route open this whole time. When the enemy commanders see her, they get fucking really pissed. And like I get it. You just got outplayed by like a 13-year-old little girl. On page 7, you were beaten by Karyoten, strategist of the Hishin unit. Remember that name well. That's fucking chef kiss. After this, Sosui comes back up to the front and is surprised that there's a little girl in their base camp, which also, fair. It makes sense. But Sosui gets caught up to speed, and a lot of the rest of this chapter is kind of an overview of what the Hishin unit would then do, which is basically a chain of lightning fast offensives, and they're able to wrap up the entire battlefield within like 10 days after Karyoten gets introduced. Moten points out that Karyoten was able to strategize on like a regional level. Like it wasn't just their battlefield they were fighting at. They were able to affect the entire battlefield as a whole. And on page 12, pretty awesome shot of the unit plus Karyoten, and Moten talking about how they're basically as strong as they've ever been or stronger. Pretty awesome shot, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's a really cool shot. And he says that, and then I just think about all the other people that eventually get added to the Hishin unit, and I'm like, bruh, you don't even know yet.
Not even yet. Not even close to where they're gonna be at. Oof. Plus Kyokai. Oh my god, Kyokai isn't even here.
Right, Kyokai is not even here. The characters that we haven't been introduced yet that eventually join them aren't here. Oh, so cool.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I can't wait. I mean, we're like what, a third of the way through this series basically, and we still have tons and tons of characters to meet. So we'll get there.
Oh yeah.
I will say it's not a negative thing, but at the beginning of the chapters, I was like, oh, I didn't really consider like the Hishin unit would start to do bad and like Shin would get demoted. But those stakes pretty much went away immediately, and then 10 comes around and they're kicking ass again, which was cool. But I will say like those stakes pretty much vanished, like I said.
Yeah, absolutely. Within like 4
cool.
chapters.
Yeah.
I guess this is kind of like a mini arc inside of this arc, this Risei Battlefields or whatever the fuck it's called. Let me see, what is it? Yeah, Risei Frontlines. Yeah. But yeah, no, you're totally right. That's not really the best storytelling, but that's not really what we're here for. We're here for a lot of the politicking and a lot of the badassery.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, the rest of this chapter is basically at night. Karyoten's talking with Shin, and she's like kind of agonizing over the fact that she's sending orders that are getting people killed, and Shin basically just says to nut up or shut up, because like of course that's going to happen. They're on a battlefield and their resolve needs to be stronger. Ten kind of retorts with like a duh, of course I know that's what the deal is with being a battlefield strategist, but it's harder than she realized it was going to be, which also that makes sense. None of us have been in a position where our choices are going to have to kill people So I can't judge too hard. But yeah, he brings her out to the nighttime party to kind of get her mind off of everything. And that's how the chapter ends. Chapter 250. Guys, we're on chapter 250. That's a
We
pretty
did
big
it.
mile marker. 250. That's basically, yeah, that's about a third of the way through. And it
Awesome.
starts back off at the capital, or starts off back at the capital, I should say. Um, all the forces that were present at the previous Sanyou campaign have gathered there. Even the Gyokuho, who've been out subjugating other regions, they've been like killing it. They like, you know, the Hishin unit took over one region, but the Gyokuho took over like 4 separate regions, and then came back to the capital. So it's like they've been mopping shit up, no problem,
Mopping it.
mopping it up. Um, so Shohei Kun appears along with Rishi and appears in front of the forces. And he announces that Sanyou is now named Togo, which is kind of weird because they refer to Sanyou as Sanyou later on. So
And
they
it's
they don't even
Togun.
they don't even fucking Togon. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
It's okay. I didn't know if you had a
um,
bad translation or something.
It's
no,
finger gun.
I just mistyped that in my notes.
That's okay.
But yeah, so they're renaming it, but not renaming it, and also they're gonna be basically colonizing the place with 10,000 Chin citizens. Um, by doing this, Chin's declaring to all of China that Sanyou is not going to be taken any back time soon. It's essentially, a declaration of war against all of Chin's neighbors. Um, Moten and Shin are assigned to the south by Chu, while Ohon is stationed in Sanyou again. Ohon's, a little bit confused about why Chin's provoking their neighbors, but Shin, in a, one-off moment of brilliance, explains that time is basically of the essence if they're going to unify China in their generation. So they don't really have much time to fuck around. They have to get their shit done quicker. Um, we switch back over to Riboku, who's starting some stuff up. He sends out word to 2 generals named Mangaku and Rihaku that the target is going to be the state of Yan, and that Hoken will be commanding it. And the last page of this chapter is Hoken fucking manhandling a tiger of all,
Yeah.
of all things.
Dude, this
Looking ripped.
page. How many abs is that?
That's what I
2,
was
4,
thinking.
6, 8. He's got 12 middle abs, but he looks like he also has
I was
like
gonna say he has 4 columns of abs.
yeah. Now, is that his nipple on the side there?
Absolutely.
It looks like during this time skip, Hoken got a really bad boob job. But yeah, so this is where the what we were talking about, the little bonus chapter. I didn't really read this. Um, I guess it looks like Shin got a little gift from Renpa, and it's just like a root of a tree that was actually a highly expensive ginseng renowned for its restorative qualities. That's cool of Renpa to do.
Wow. What a
And
good
this is
guy.
like this little chapter or bonus page is thanks from the author for purchase of volume 23. So we're already at volume 23, boys.
Oh yeah, I saw on the Reddit today that Kingdom today sold over 80 million copies today. Like they reached
Wow.
that number today.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Still no English adaptation. Officially.
Right?
That's
Right?
wild, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yo, also listen, like there's this other chapter called 250.5.
Uh-huh.
It's titled Extra. I did not read this, but I'm just seeing it's 33 pages.
It's
And it
very
looks like,
long.
oh yeah, it's like a whole big thing. I didn't read this though.
Yeah, pretty much about this princess that gets captured by the Chin, and they do this I think she's a Wei princess or something. And they do this exchange, and it turns out that the Wei are going to turn on the Chin during the exchange, but Shin already knew that, so they used that opportunity to kill all of them, and the guy that had the princess was like some scumbag who was like, abusing her and sexually harassing her and whatnot. So, yeah.
I'll be honest. I think I was reading on the different website from you guys, and that wasn't on my thing. So
Hmm. Hmm.
thanks for this little summary, Adam.
Yeah, I wish I didn't really read it. I just skimmed through it, so I could be wrong on some
Yeah,
of the details, but that's pretty much the gist of it.
nice.
Pretty much just made that up by looking at the pictures, but
No, I did read some of the stuff that was going on, but I didn't
It's
really
like
like
something
read it.
completely different. But all right, so guys, chapter 251.
Crazy.
Uh, this chapter starts off with some awesome Hoken fucking shit up. He's just destroying a forest, an entire forest, because I
Yeah.
guess he sees Oki in the trees, and he's trying to get his
I see him in the trees. I gotta destroy
No,
all these trees.
I'm serious. On the first page, which
I
I guess would
know.
be like page 8, you see Oki in the trees. Um, Pretty badass though. Those are some clean cuts. Like you see like people practicing with Japanese swords where they slice up bamboo. That's kind of what this reminds me of, except it's entire trees.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but one of Riboku's boys, Keisha, shows up to give him a message from Riboku that in the event you can't cut through Oki's shadow, the answer must lie on the battlefield, and he's going to escort you back to the Zhao. Word of this reaches the Hisshin unit, and she freaks out a little bit. We get a little bit of a lore dump about the target of Zhao, which is the state of Yan, from Karyoten, and how to the Qin it's basically a really mysterious country because it's located on the opposite side of the continent from Qin, on the opposite side of the eastern fringe of China. Since they have Qin and Yan have basically no reason to fight, their military might's basically unknown to Qin, except that there's this super badass guy named Gekishin, who was able to defeat another state, Qi, at the very last moment and save his country. But Gekishin is also a great general, on the level of the Qin 6, supposedly. We flash over to General Gekishin, um, where he meets Saitaku, the old man from Ryofui's faction, on the road because Saitaku was on a diplomatic mission and he's going back to Qin. He warns Gekishin not to underestimate Hoken and Riboku as just like upstarts. And Gekishin mentions, as a great general, he understands that the man who defeated Oki are no pushovers. And he actually Gekishin has personal experience with Bushin because he's killed a bunch. Because they would, he where he was born was filled with a bunch of hermits who called themselves path seekers, and they would come down from the mountains and kill a bunch of people. That's basically until Gekishin started cutting all them down, and he killed countless numbers of them.
yeah, I wrote in my notes here. This guy used to cut down all these Bushin hipsters.
They would
Bushin
come down and
hipsters.
Yeah,
they would
all
come
these
down in their fleece sweaters and
calling
complain
themselves
about
path seekers.
they complain about how the coffee around here was all dog shit, just tastes like burnt trash.
Hey, let me ask you something though. The Chin 6 and the Zhao 3, right?
Yeah.
Are the 3 of them as strong as the 6 of them, or is like one of the 3 as strong as one of the 6?
I think it's more like the second part of what you said.
Yeah, I think it's like a one
Right,
for
so
one
like,
thing.
because
or even like a
when I read this,
1.5,
I was like, whoa, Geki Shin is as strong as all 6.
No,
No.
no,
Of the great
no.
general. Okay,
No.
No, they
I
mean
got it.
like he's as strong as Oki, or he's as strong
Right,
as,
right,
whatever other ones there are. The other ones,
right.
who I'm talking about. Renpa, yeah, there's another one.
Yeah, Kyo, I think.
Yeah,
I
Kyo.
I mean I would say maybe like they are stronger than, maybe one individual. besides like Oki, because Oki was obviously the man. So maybe like 1.5 instead of like 1 of the Chin 6, but who knows? It's kind of hard to say because we don't really see much of them in action.
Right, and also military strength is so different in this world because Oki is obviously someone who excels at both combat and strategy, whereas Kyo also excels, and so does Renpa. But like certain great generals obviously are strategists, and they're like, I'm just gonna stand back. Like Riboku, right? Like he doesn't
Right.
fight, but he is a fucking
Right.
genius. That's his strength. So his strength is as strong as Oki's strength, but maybe not physically. Also, maybe physically. Who knows? Because
Hard to say.
Riboku actually slaps. I think he like can fight. So
He can. Yeah, he's a competent fighter. Like he's
Right.
not just like a pussy.
right, he's
He
not
can
some
actually fuck
pushover.
your shit up.
Right, if you give him a sword, he'll fuck you up.
Yeah, he doesn't like to go out on the front lines, but when he does, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, speaking of impressive dudes, this guy Gekishin, he tells Saitaku that for the right price that he's more than willing to switch from Yan over to Chin. And Saitaku thinks it's kind of funny, like, oh yeah, we'll think about it, whatever. But yeah, so that's basically the chapter ends basically with Riboku starting to go up against Gekishin. So the battle is basically starting with this. Next
I
chapter.
have to shout out. I'm sorry. I have to shout out this page 20.
Okay, I
This-
also wanted to bring up page 20.
Page 20.
Yeah.
He's like telling this story, right? And there's just
Oh,
this
right.
face.
Yeah.
that is-
This guy is like he's a demon? Like what is this guy?
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be, some sort of like, I don't know. But yeah, he looks like he doesn't even have eyes. Or he does have eyes and they're just really small.
It would make sense too if this guy, like the people of Yan, or at least like maybe like the royalty of Yan, fucks with some kind of magic or something. Because like, isn't like the fucking current king of Yan kind of like eccentric as hell and a bit out there and whatnot?
I think you're thinking of the King of Chi.
Is that who I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of the
Guy with
Snake Man.
the tongue.
Yeah.
The tongue guy. I'm like 90% certain.
Oh, that's Chi. Okay, I thought it was Chi, but then Saitaku was going to Yan, so I was like, oh, maybe it was Yan. Maybe I got that wrong.
I'm gonna Google this real quick. I'm pretty certain.
I think
that
you're
Tongue
right.
Man,
I think it's Chi. I think it's Chi as well. I don't think that's
Yeah.
wrong.
it is. It's him.
The only, like I
His name
said,
is-
the only reason I switched it is because of this Saitaku scene. But yeah, I
Right.
don't know. This guy, I figured we were gonna just talk about him real quick because of his fucking eyes.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
Yeah, Gyuwei, however you pronounce that name.
Go away. Go away.
Please
Guo
go
Wei.
away.
Yeah,
You're
please
freaking me out.
go away.
Go away. All right.
Nice.
Okay, so chapter 252.
Crazy.
We get a lot of token fucking shit up in this chapter. A lot of Hogan fucking shit up in this chapter. It's mostly Hogan fucking shit up in this chapter.
Cannot stress enough how much Hoken fucks in this chapter.
He does, man. Like, start at page 2, right? Or actually, no, start at page 1 and then just keep going. He's standing in front of like 900 dudes. None of them get even close to him. He's slicing up dudes left and right. He grabs a guy in the head on page 4, grabs him by the head and just squishes him like a little boba ball.
Am I on the wrong?
Wait.
Am I on the wrong
I
chapter?
think Evan's on the wrong chapter.
Evan's definitely on the wrong chapter.
This isn't 253.
No,
We're on
252.
252.
You even said 252.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, this is 252. Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
Kekishin's battle is 252 for us.
Oh, that's weird. I'm looking at this here, and they doubled up chapter 251 and 252. Oh, that's shitty. Hold on, let me go to somewhere else real quick.
Oh,
Oh my god.
this guy, man.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
This, this fucking guy, I swear.
Somebody show me where the unsubscribe button
All right.
is.
While he's doing that, I think it's important to bring up that other guy that they mentioned real quick. Geki Shin's other boy, Jesse. Do you remember his name?
Oh, Gaku Ki?
Yeah, Gaku Ki.
Yeah, he's the god of all the East.
Yeah, he is the guy that's on par, not Geki Shin,
Right.
by the way.
Oh, okay.
Geki Shin is his was his
Oh, yeah, no.
understudy.
I do have that here in the written in my notes.
Geki Shin is a great general though, and a pretty damn good general. But he wasn't like that guy was like they said that guy held the balance in the East with
I gotta be
with
honest,
the
I
Xiao and the Chin.
we can check the tape. I'm pretty sure I thought Evan mentioned the Chin 6 first. That's why I brought it up. But this whole fucking show is falling apart. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No,
I'm
it's so
really
funny.
I'm really confused here, guys,
Can
because
you not find the chapter?
I'm on Manga Park right now, and it does the same thing. 251 and 252 are
You're not
doubled
using
up.
version rock, kiddo. You're not using version rock. He's using version something.
Rock.
He's using
Oh my
version
God.
duck.
What is he on Fox over there?
He's using version duck like a clown.
Oh my god. Well, do you guys want to take care of it?
Someone play the Seinfeld bass slap.
Well, yeah, I mean, in my notes, I have written down exactly what we were just talking about. We get this stuff about Gaku Ki, like I said, the god general of the East, and Geki Shin pretty much, like, he was like kind of his right hand man, but he was also just like around all the time, constantly, like literally stealing everything about the man, right? And like even like some of his people would be like, "Oh, here comes this fucking spy," and like Gakuki was just like, "You know what? It's all good. Like, let him observe." So he pretty much like copied this guy, you know.
Right, but
And then
they said that. Oh, go ahead, Jesse.
no, go ahead, please.
All I was gonna say was they said that even though he's watching him, that doesn't mean that he'd be able to put those tactics into practice. But Geki Shin was so talented that he was able to just watch this guy and absorb everything and put it into practice.
So he's not just like a copycat. Like he's actually utilizing these strategies.
I
and
mean,
stuff.
yeah, he's straight
He's
up.
not coming up with them.
He's not coming up with them. He's straight up stealing them, but he's using them effectively. He's using them well enough that he is certainly a great general and definitely has renown in China.
And this guy's old, right? Geki Shin, he's like 60 or something or older.
Well, he was from the same generation as like Oki's troops,
Right.
like in the Chin 6. So yeah, he's getting up there.
Also, in chapter 252, we get introduced to the poison cats and the poison dogs.
Yeah.
Which are pretty cool.
If you thought the poison cats were cool, well, wait till you try poison dogs.
But yeah,
those guys are from like the horseman tribes, right?
Right.
Yes, a lot of the Yan troops are like these nomadic steppe tribes, like these horse lords and whatnot.
Proto Mongols.
Right, exactly. So like the poison cats are these assassins, and the poison dogs they're a cavalry unit, right?
Yeah. Now, are they mountain people?
They're not mountain people. They're like the horse lords and the horse tribes.
Okay.
You'll find out more about that, but yeah.
Do you remember when in the battle where Oki dies, where Yotanwa says like, "Hey, we went to go fight these horse people, and they were already fucked up." This is basically who they're talking about, like the same ethnic groups, I guess, of the northern steppes.
Right. That's actually how they introduced Riboku, because they were like, "Oh, the Zhao doesn't have anybody to lead them right now," and then it's like, "Oh, who's this guy?
Who that man?" Yeah, because they didn't have any spies on the north because they couldn't get to the north, and they also had like a strict information lockdown on the north, so that specifically so that Chin doesn't know that they have like a whole crack northern army. So these
Right.
are the people that they fought, who are purportedly fucking really powerful.
Yeah, the
And
poison dogs are the Quan Rong horseman tribe. They are the fastest horseman tribe, in fact. On page 16.
well, in the next chapter, they all get fucking killed.
What? Why would you spoil it like that? Jeez Louise, man.
Like they
Yeah,
get
Evan,
destroyed, man.
Please
I
tell
told
us
you
all
already.
about. Please tell us all about how Hoken squishes this guy's head and then spikes him into the ground, touchdown style.
Dude, look at that. It's fucking awesome.
It's amazing.
Um,
Page 4.
Oh yeah, well
And I
I
like
gotta
how-
start from page 1 just so I can show the people the carnage that is Hoken. But keep on talking.
yeah, I mean, I like how this one dude too is he's kind of slightly backing up, and Gekishin's just stabs him in the chest like, "Don't retreat." He took
Hell
like
yeah.
2 steps, buddy. Like he was his horse was adjusting to the terrain. Come on,
He was just adjusting to the terrain. The poor man, he was like, "No,
I looked to the left.
Damn, dude. Fucking brutal. I also
So,
like
yeah,
that
like
all
I-
these guys have these awesome fucking like face shields on their helmets.
Yeah. The black armor.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's some of the best designs we've seen for a troop so far.
For sure.
Also, I just realized too that the guy that Hoken slams and grabs by the face and slams down like was trying to jump on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I guess he was on a horse that got sliced up into the air and he's trying to go for the poison cat attack and just nothing. But yeah, like I said
Nothing.
before, this chapter is basically just Hoken fucking dudes up. Gekishin in this chapter is uber confident that he's going to be able to beat Hoken, but with like one arm. Like where are we? Page 7.
Page 7.
Yeah, I
Page
think we need to
7.
show page 7. Page 7 is very cool.
Yeah, he goes at it and he's immediately like, "Whoa, hold on, he's quick."
I like the way that they drew him too. They made him look very fucking scary. This this first panel,
and he just gets immediately humbled. And yeah, by using one arm from like a sitting position, like a resting position, he slices Gekishin in half. On page 9, he calls him a fraud before doing so, and just whomp.
I feel like
Yeah,
I've seen that muscular veiny arm before. I can't place it, but like on page 8, I've seen an arm like that in this position before, holding a shaft.
Is that right?
I don't know where.
Are you thinking of your own, maybe?
No, good lord. Absolutely not.
You're probably thinking of either me or Jesse or even
Me and
earlier,
Evan.
or even earlier on in the series, man. You know?
For sure. It's probably just thinking of Oki's arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's safe to say that Gekishin gets the fucking Yamcha award here.
Yeah.
Damn, he gets
jobbed it pretty
jobbed. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking, I'm gonna kill all 6 Saibai-men right now.
Man.
Poor
and
Yamcha.
I do have to say it is pretty lame that this war between the Zhao and the Yan wraps up so quickly.
One day.
Fucking one day. And it's already done.
Isn't this like 100,000 people?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, something like
gigantic
that.
fucking army.
One day.
And I mean,
one arm.
I guess Riboku does say like, yeah, this was really just supposed to be a warm up for the real thing that's going to happen. But still, it is kind of lame. I would have liked to see this with at least a few more chapters. This whole entire 100,000 fucking on 100,000 army battle less time than the Risei Hishin unit arc that we had at the beginning of this, which was like 5,000 dudes tops total.
I
You
know.
know?
And they
Like,
hyped up
cool.
Gekishin so much.
Yeah, it's fucking lame.
To be fair,
Um,
though, we will be
fair.
introduced to another Yan general who is very fucking cool. I like that guy a lot more than Gekishin, so I'm fine with it. But I agree. I wish we got a little bit more. Just I don't know, just to see a little bit more of Gekishin because he was like such a big fucking character that they hyped him up, killed him off in
Yeah,
like a page.
yeah.
But yeah, that's Kingdom. It is what it is.
But meanwhile, at the the Chu and Chin border, where Shin is at, they get word that shit got wrapped up like within a day, and they're like kind of shook by that. Like they're like, "What? One day?"
They're like
Because
us.
they've just been sitting there at against the Chu, and nothing has been changing on the line. We get to see some of the Chu characters for the first time. This is kind of like the Chu version of the Moten and Shin, Hakure and Koyoku. We also see General Rin Bukun, which has possibly the worst design in all of Kingdom, besides Shohome, or whatever the fuck
Well,
that
here's
pig's
the
name
thing,
was.
dude. Everybody in Chin is so, or I'm not. I'm sorry, not Chin. Chu is like this eccentric motherfucker, like that guy.
Yeah.
They all have these crazy fucking hairs. Like I guess these two are, that they have pretty normal hair, but there's another guy they introduced who has crazy fucking hair.
Uh-huh. Karen has crazy hair.
Karen, yeah, I forgot about Karen. Oh my god, the Chu are
Yeah.
pretty cool, but
Honestly, you make a good point though. I think the Chu have some of like the weaker designs. Um,
yeah, I think they're
espe-
definitely like the weaker ones. I think the only reason they're so memorable is because they're kind of fucking weird.
yeah. And also they're like the biggest nation, you know.
Oh well, yeah, obviously there's that. I'm just talking about the personal characters, but yeah,
Right.
Choose cool. Choose cool. I mean, all the they do a really good job with all the countries and making everybody pretty unique. Or not the countries, the king.
Yeah. Yeah, same shit. But yeah, no, it's cool to see like some of the Chu characters for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, and this guy, Koyoku, he ends the chapter by going over to the Chin lines and harasses them with arrows and shit. And that's how that chapter ends. Um, the next chapter picks up basically, you know, where it ended with the Hishin unit getting harassed by these arrows.
Hey, I want to say on the title page for this chapter, Shin has a helmet.
Yeah,
So it's like we
yeah.
were teased with him wearing the goddamn armor
I
for half
know.
the chapter. Now we're gonna get this for fucking.
That's like the that's the helmet that Heki Bro uses. Looks
Hecky,
just like
bro.
it at least.
Damn, foreshadowing Hecky Bro's death. Fucked up.
Oh, don't even say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're getting harassed by the arrows of Thousand Man Commander Koyoku, mostly because he's bored and wants to bug them. Shin pretends, not to take the bait, and he's like, "Oh, this is fine. Everything's fine." Before he jumps down a fucking cliff and tried to take out Yoku. Um, they fight for a bit, and they seem to be on even grounds. Um, yeah, I mean, Shin's an idiot, and he's put himself in like this really shitty position because he's in front of the enemy lines as they're raining arrows down upon them. Um, but the problem is though, killing a 1,000 man commander for either side is not a good option, uh, because it would essentially be a war declaration, and the point is, they just need to hold the line. So the true commanders back off, and they let him go. A lot of trash talking. Shin, uh, Shin makes the point, like on page 10, that Yoku's basically just full of hot air because he started all this shit with Shin, and he's backing off, and it's pretty true. It's like, why the fuck would you even start fucking with these dudes if you weren't gonna follow through with it? But that's besides the point.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
we also get to see Shin block one of the arrows from the third bow of China. The youngest member of the 10 bows, but he's also ranked number 3 in all of China, which is pretty impressive, first off, for that guy. But also that Shin can actually block it. That kind of shows. That's a little bit of an indicator of where Shin's at power level wise. So yeah, they fuck off. Karyo-chan explains to the unit how geopolitics works, basically. If Chu attacks someone, they'll immediately get attacked somewhere else. So it's kind of hard for them to expand their already massive borders. But Chin's kind of working out a way. The high command's kind of working out a way to fight them. And the chapter ends with like a little bit of a, they're saying, if Kyo had his Bakuya sword, then it wouldn't have even been a match, which I don't think is true. But it just goes to show that we're going to see more of these new characters in a little bit. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
I'm excited to see if that's cool at all. That sword.
It's a sharp sword. I mean, it's really cool.
It's
when
a
he does buff it
sharp
out,
sword.
eventually.
That's
It
a
is.
sharp jacket you got on, Sonny.
Listen,
That is a sharp sword you got, Koyoko.
Koyoko?
Yeah,
Yoku?
Code Lyoko.
That's what I thought you said. I was like, is this motherfucker serious? Remember when they got rid of Toonami to do like Umizumi or whatever?
Oh
And the
god.
only
Yeah,
show they
I
had
think it
was
was
like
called-
Code Lyoko.
And Code Lyoko sucked. Oh,
The fucking worst shit ever.
I fucking hated that. Man, whenever that show came on, I was upset. I was like, "Fuck this! I ain't watching this garbage."
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix or something like that.
Fucking 8-year-old me.
saw it.
Fuck this.
You're like, damn these fucking French Canadian motherfuckers.
Is that what it was?
My fucking cock. I think it
Yeah,
was
I'm
called
pretty-
Magoozy, and you're right. They literally had no good shows at all on that.
Umi Zumi, he said.
I was close,
Uh,
kind of. I had you in there.
that's so funny. Team Umi Zumi was a TV show though.
Was it?
In 2010,
Oh,
like a preschool baby show. Evan.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah, okay.
Umizumi fans had a lot of beef with the Caillou crowd.
That's true.
Now the new kid on the block is Coco Melon.
No, the new kid on the block is Molcar.
Molcar? That sounds like a demon.
You gotta look up after this episode Pooey Pooey Molcar and watch Pooey Pooey Molcar. Everybody listening to this, watch Pooey Pooey Molcar.
I kind of don't, but I kind of do.
It's cute. Watch it. It's funny.
Oh my god.
What?
That's adorable.
It is so fucking cute.
Jesus.
Okay, I'm getting off the topic real quick, but what it is it's every
How do you
episode. Okay,
How do you spell it?
it's I think Puyi Molcar.
No, it's just PUI. Sorry.
Oh, PUI. Sorry, PUI. PUI. MOLCAR. So what it is I'll show a picture on screen. It is every episode is like 3 minutes long. There's like 12 episodes. There's only one season. But it's this world where everybody drives these hamster cars. And everything is like action figures except when they go inside the car and then the person's like a live action person.
Oh.
But all
I was
these
gonna say.
all these mole cars are like hand stitched and whatnot. I think it's
Is
like
this
stop
like-
action.
This reminds me of like a live action Hamtaro.
It's kind of like that, but it's not. You just gotta watch it. I don't know. It's just like episodic bullshit that these hamsters get into. Like one episode is like the apocalypse and there's zombies and they're biting the hamsters and turning the hamster cars into like zombie hamster cars.
Oh, I thought you said this was for like preschoolers.
It is. It's like
Yeah.
it is. It's not a show for adults. It's definitely aimed for children.
Japanese
Gotcha.
preschoolers though, so
But yeah, look up
You
Pooey
know.
Pooey Molcar. Give it a watch. It's pretty cute.
The Netflix adaptation of Hamtaro. Well, anyway, let's get back to Kingdom. We only got a little bit left here. So next chapter 255, back at Kanyo. Rio Fui is fucking Sei's faction as well as his mother, as people defect from the Emperor to Rio Fui. But surprise, it's actually this guy named Roi that's fucking the Queen Mother. You probably shouldn't show that.
I'm not going to show it. It's pretty
I mean,
graphic.
maybe show the panel where he's like fucking saying like, oh yeah, he's got a member like that can hold up a fucking wheel of a cart or whatever. But
Show
yeah,
the picture I sent you guys where I drew the little dunce cap.
oh god. So a little bit about Roi. He's this mysterious fella that shows up in the royal harem. It turns out that the royal harem faction have been working behind the scenes to defect people over to Rio Fui's side. Rio Fui's plan was basically smuggle this dude who's a serious horsecock into the royal harem, pretending to be a eunuch and to act as the queen's pleasure partner. This was so that Rio Fui can distance himself from the queen without leaving her cockless. And the idea worked. She seems to be pretty happy with Rio Fui. He, his reputation as his members being stiff enough to hold the wheel of a cart, I guess, was true.
She's like, Rio Hui?
But dude, like in these depictions of them having sex, it looks like they just got out of like a water park. They are completely.
Yeah.
I
soaked.
know. I know.
It's so gross.
They are
I think this
so
is based
fucking
on-
sweaty.
I think this is based on me when I have sex.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so this idea seemed to work. Rishi is hearing about this, and he actually seems to be a little bit like fucked up about this. Like, you're not supposed to be fucking with the queen dowager or the royal harem like at all. Period. And like there had been rumors previously, but like, and he thought that they might have been true, but like this is like confirmation that it was all true. And the guy telling him is like, "Oh yeah, the chancellor bade me to pass it on to you. Who else knows about this? No one." So this guy gets fucking killed.
I know.
Poor fella. Poor
I
guy.
know. He's like, oh yeah, no one knows because everyone that knew has been killed. And he's like, oh okay, so like, how many people know? And he's like, oh, just the two of us. Like,
Is that so?
Rishi's like, oh okay. He's like, yeah, Rio Fui told me to pass it on to you. And Rishi's like, oh, I think I get it. I think I understand what's happening.
And then on page 10, they're saying like the fact that one of Rio Fui's officials was found to be assassinated in a room that night did not become big news in the city of Kanye. Which is like,
This poor
on one
man.
hand-
This poor
on
man.
one hand, that's like a pretty big fucking deal, but on the other hand, I'm sure that there are plenty of assassinations going on in Kanyo all the time.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. But yeah, we go back. Rishi goes up to Rio Fui and he's like, This shit can backfire on you real quick, dog. You better fucking be careful with this shit." And Rio Fui's like, "Yeah, I know. Whatever. Done and over with. It's time I graduated from chancellor." And he gets a higher position in court to the chancellor of state, which is even higher than his previous position of chancellor of the right. So he's about as high as he can possibly get without actually being king, which is pretty bad for Sei's faction because Sei's faction was already on the ropes, and now he's about as powerful as he can get legally.
Say what? You get it? Say.
Yeah,
no,
I get
but
it.
I have to say, like, look on page 12. Our boy's getting pretty fat, right? Rio Fui? Or
Yeah,
has he always been so swollen?
I think he's always been a bit rotund.
I think he's gotten fatter. I agree. I think
It's
all
because
this.
he isn't having
All this
as much.
sitting around is bad for the
Yeah, yeah.
cholesterol.
Yeah, it's because he's not having as much sex with the queen. He's not burning
Yeah.
any calories.
In the
He's getting
sauna,
fat.
apparently.
So yeah, Say
Yeah,
and his
in the
faction are
sauna.
discussing this. They're discussing this shit, and they're Say's like, oh yeah, we got to do to even the odds. And this chapter ends with Say going up to this mysterious castle, and Shobunkun and what's his face? What's this guy's name? I forget.
Miss Mr.
Mr.
She.
Mr. Shi, right. What the fuck does he have on his head?
He's Mr. She. All you need to be concerned about.
All right. So Shobunkun and Mr. Shi are like, what? Don't tell me. As they open up this chamber, and
Yeah,
out.
and speaking of sauna, by the way, this steamy door, I thought they were gonna walk into the Queen Mother's fuck room.
Yeah, right. Like you think that it's like he might be like, oh yeah, you fucking bitch, I caught you in the act, but no, it's motherfucking Seikyo back again. Jesse,
Son of a bitch.
did you expect this shit? Did you expect him to come back at all? Were you surprised when you saw this guy?
Oh, great surprise. I wrote his name in all capitals in my notes.
Nice.
Yeah, big surprise, and god damn, he's gotten tall.
Yeah, he's gotten bigger. It's been like fucking a few years, man. Been quite a while, actually.
Yeah, I think he says he's been chained up in here for 3 years.
Yeah, in this moldy old palace for 3 years now. So basically, that's how that chapter ended. And this chapter 256, Chancellor of the Left, is the last chapter we'll be talking about today. So Sei's plan, in order to beat Ryo Fui, he's going to have to use Seikyo to increase the number of Sei's own faction. Because even though Seikyo lost, he still has people that he can still, pull some people over to Sei's side if he, shows up and starts talking about it. In return for doing this, Sei says that he'll free Seikyo and all his retainers that have been imprisoned ever since the beginning of the series. Chapter like what, 50 was it? I don't know. Seikyo in this chapter makes it clear that even though he doesn't want Sei to be king, at least he's royal. At least he's got blue blood, and a mongrel, quote unquote, like Ryo Fui, is an even worse option, and it's their duty as royalty to take care of this guy. I remember first time reading this being like fucking mind blown. Like it makes sense because he is like at the beginning of the series, his whole shtick was royalty above everything else. But still, I was like, what? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, the first time I read this, I was like, this is fucking cool. I really like this.
Yeah, I love politicking, man.
Yeah. And they do some really cool politicking with Psycho. They really, man, his character, they do a good job with
Yeah,
him.
yeah, we get to see a good amount of Seikyo still in the series for sure. So yeah, Ryo Fui and his faction here that they're allying with Prince Seikyo's group, and they freak out a little bit. So 10 days later, what's it called? My goodness, of course at the fucking end I lose my track of my notes.
Let's go.
10 days later, Shohei-kun, because Ryo Fui has become the Chancellor of State, there are a few promotions that need to happen. So Shohei-kun is the Chancellor of the Right, and Shobun-kun, our boy Shobun-kun, is position of Chancellor of the Left.
Very nice.
So he's basically third, in the power rankings. There's Ryo Fui, Shohei-kun, and then Shobun-kun. So this basically tips the scales in favor of Sei's faction. And basically, in this one swift move and joining hands with an old enemy, he's basically got control of the royal court again.
My guy.
Yeah, and that's how that chapter ends, and that's how we're gonna end today's read through. And I want to hear from you guys, like a little bit of a reaction. Overall, what did you think, Adam?
Yeah, there's a good little politic slash a bunch of mini arcs right before we get to a big beefy arc. Probably the best arc.
Definitely the best arc.
But yeah, this was cool. We get some character development. We get to meet some new characters. Some old characters get brought back. There's a good little 12 chapters we went through.
What are your thoughts, Jesse?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. You know, obviously my favorite character has been absent this whole time, but nonetheless, still good. Nice to have 10 back.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is pretty great. To have.
only one girl at a time, or else I'm not that interested. So that's good. Unless it's tits like the Queen Mother. No, that's a character I'm working on. Guys, don't take me seriously. No, but I'm excited for this next fucking 100 chapter or 99 chapter arc that we're about to get into. You guys have been actually hyping up the name, the coalition arc, since the very beginning of this thing. So it's exciting.
It feels so weird that we're so close to it as well.
Yeah, we're literally going to be covering it in the next episode, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I am very excited to read through that. That is some good content.
As am I, man. Some of the best manga you'll get, period, in
For
my
sure.
opinion.
For sure.
Well, all right. On that note, let's we can end the episode there.
Evan,
Thank you.
actually, I want you to humor me here for just a moment.
Sure.
For all the manga enthusiasts out there who have made it to the end of this episode, briefly, can you tell me about the end of Attack on Titan and if it nails it in as one of the greatest series of all time for you, or if it was kind of a letdown?
Yeah, it was kind of a letdown, which is crazy too because the chapter before the last chapter was fucking awesome. There's still, it felt very rushed. Like if they extended the last chapter 2 or 3 extra chapters, it would have been fine. It would have been perfectly fine, and it would have probably been a good ending. But there were just like a lot of plot points left unfinished. Um, I don't want to say too much without because it'll be pretty spoilery. It just came out not too long ago.
Not too satisfying though.
Not too satisfying. I mean, there's some pretty interesting moments, and like there's one specific page that I'm thinking of in that chapter that was really dope. But yeah, it could have been better. But
Even still, though, do you think that may be like your favorite manga series that's completed?
I don't know, man. I don't think so because there's a lot of manga out there, and it's kind of hard to pin down my favorite completed one. But the first thing that came to mind was Kengan Asura, which I know Adam would fucking also agree is a dope ass fucking series.
Yeah, I love Kengan Asura. I also love Kengan Omega.
Kengan Omega is really good too. Hopefully that goes on forever because I could read that shit every day. Yeah, I don't know.
Cool. So fuck Attack on Titan. We're never reading it on this podcast.
Probably not. Probably not. But
Damn. Well, that's kind of a bummer.
yeah. Well,
Oh, we might get through it. Who knows? Let's see. maybe we do like every single fucking manga ever.
yeah, we could do that. We could
Yeah.
get all big brain, cosmic, everything is the same ever.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? You know what? All you manga enthusiasts out there who have made it to the end of this episode, this is our promise. We're gonna cover every manga ever.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it from Jesse. You're hearing it from me now. Adam agrees too. I'll answer for him on that one.
Yep.
But all right, on that note, thank you for listening, everybody. We love you. This has been King Dummies by the Mangaki no Tsukai boys. Thank you for listening and have a great time. Bye.
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 All right.